Good morning, student. Today's our topic is reproduction in organism, chapter 1. Okay. So today we are going to study about reproduction in organism. So before that, we learn the term that is called as reproduction. What do you mean by reproduction? Okay. Yes, we already studied in 10th standard, 11th standard. What do you mean by reproduction? So reproduction is a biological process of formation of a new offspring from the pre-existing organism. This process is known as reproduction. Okay, in very simple language, what do you mean by reproduction? Is biological process of formation of new offspring from the pre-existing one. Or pre-existing organism. Okay. This process is known as reproduction. But in other words, I can also that it's a biological process in which the organism give rise to a young one, or we can say offspring similar to themselves or itself. It's also known as reproduction. Another definition of reproduction. So, in other terms, I can say like that. It's reproduction is also a biological process in which an organism gives rise to young ones, or that is nothing but the offspring. Okay, that is similar to themselves. Or itself. Okay, whatever. This process is known as reproduction. Okay, so here there are two definitions. In two ways we can define the process of reproduction. The first one is reproduction is a biological process of formation of a new offspring from the pre-existing organism. Okay, whatever the organism available right now, from that organism new organisms are produced, new organisms are formed. That process is known as reproduction. In another way, we can also define the process of reproduction it also a biological process in which organism give rise to young ones, or that is offspring similar to themselves. This process is known as reproduction. Okay, now what are this? Reproduction. Offsprings matured and produce a new organism, that we know that. Okay, whatever the offsprings are produced, that grow, that mature, and finally they produce a new organism. So what are the significance of a reproduction? And as we know that reproduction is very vital process, and without which species cannot survive for a long time. What is it's very vital process. Reproduction is a vital process without which species cannot survive for a long time. Okay. Now, why the reproduction is occurs in organism? What are the importance? What are the significance of reproduction? So now we are going to study about the significance of reproduction. Okay. What are the significance? What are the importance of reproduction? So first is that why this reproduction is important. Okay. It maintain this reproduction is help for the continuation of species. So what is continuation of species is the main important function or significance of reproduction. What is a continuation? Continuation of species is the first prime important significance of reproduction. Okay. What is second? Second is that reproduction makes up for the loss of that individual. Okay. Reproduction makes up for the loss of dead individual. Okay. Yes. With the help of the process of reproduction, we can make up the loss of dead individual. Okay. Through the process of reproduction. The third is that the sexual reproduction gives rise to variation and due to which evolutions are produced. Okay, as we know that what happens in sexual reproduction, male and female gamete are fused. The male gamete come from male side, female gamete is coming from female side. So it has character of female, it has characteristic of male, and it's fused to form a new organism. So definitely, this sexual reproduction gives rise to variations due to which evolution proceed. Okay. So what I told you, sexual reproduction give rise to variation and due to which evolution proceed. Definitely, it's very true. Because of sexual reproduction, whatever the new offspring is there, it contains character of fathers and it contains character of mothers. Okay, and whatever the new organism, it have a combination of their fathers and mothers. So definitely it has a variations, and that variation ultimately leads to the evolution. Then fourth important significance of reproduction is this: living organisms are able to create offsprings, right? Whatever the living organisms are present, that are able to create new offsprings, okay, with the character like their own. It means that this human being give birth to the human being. It's not given birth to the puppies or kittens. Understood? So what is the fourth important characteristic is that this living organism are able to create offsprings with characters like their own. So these are these four important significance or feature of this process of reproductions. Okay. Now, you know, there is a cycle of growth and death. As I initially told you, offsprings, whatever the newborn baby is there, okay, whether it may be a human beings or any animals or plants, okay. So these offsprings grow, mature, and turn to produce a new offsprings. Okay, this cycle of growth and death. It means this is the cycle of growth and death. Okay, so this, it means so what I just now told you, these are the significance of reproduction. Okay, and as we know that these offspring grows, matured, and turn to produce new organisms. Okay, so thus there is a cycle of, it means there is a cycle of growth, and death, right? Yes, there is a cycle of growth and death. It means that this reproduction ensure the continuity of the species, generation after generation, as this older individual undergoes senescence. It means senescence means the loss of cell's power of division. Okay, or we can say the condition of process of deteriorations according to this age. This process is known as senescence. Okay, so what I just now told you, this reproduction ensure the continuity of species, generation after generation, as the older individual undergoes senescence, and ultimately they die. Okay, right? So this is actually the process of reproductions. Now we'll see, that each and every organisms live only for a certain period of time, whether it may be a human being, whether it may be a plant, whether it may be a wild animal, domestic animal, blah blah blah. Okay, so whatever, not even a single microorganism. So each and every organism present on the earth, it's live only for a certain period of time, and this period, from this period, from birth to the natural death, of an organism is known as what? Lifespan. Very good. Okay, so yes, as I told you, whatever the period, it's from their birth to the natural death of that organism. Okay, till the natural death of that particular organism. Okay, and whatever this period in between the birth and this death, that period is known as lifespan. Okay, and lifespan of organism is vary from, it's few days to thousands of years. Okay, so this lifespan of an organism is varies from few days to the thousands of years. Few days, it means, for example, I'm giving you butterfly. Okay, butterfly have lifespan is only 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, whereas banyan tree, it has lifespan thousands of years. Okay, another example, elephant we took. Elephant, then dog, cow, crow, Okay, so elephant have lifespan is 60 to 70 years. Dog has a lifespan near about 10 to 13 years. Cow is 18 to 22 years, whereas the crow has lifespan it's near about 15 years. Not only that, we are taking example, some more example, that is parrot. Okay, parrot, then to crocodile, horse, then tortoise, one more, then yes, that much. Okay, so parrot have generally lifespan of 140 years. Just imagine, okay, where the crow and parrot are same size. Still, crow have lifespan of only 15 years, whereas this parrot have lifespan is 140 years. Then crocodile has a life of 60 years, right? Horse has a life of 25 to 30 years, whereas the tortoise has life 200 to 150 years. Not only animals but also the plants. When we are talking about, then I will take example of rose, then generally common, then banyan tree, then which one, banana, then take example of rice plant. Okay, that each and every plant also have their particular lifespan. For example, rose have generally lifespan of 7 to 8 years, whereas banyan tree have highest lifespan, that is near about 200 years ago, 200 years, right? Where a banana tree has 6 years of lifespan, whereas the rice plants have only 3 to 7 months. Okay, so whatever the period of plants or animals or human being from birth to their natural death, okay, this period is known as lifespan, and the lifespan of each and every individual is different, right? Already the shortest lifespans of butterfly generally 1 to 2 weeks, but whereas you can see this parrot, okay, when we calculate the few example of animals, the parrot have highest lifespan, so 140, along with this tortoise also have 100 to 150 years of lifespan, whereas only butterfly have very short lifespan. Okay, apart from that, not only animal but also the plant, you can see the rose plant have 7 to 8 years of their life, but whereas the rice plant only 3 to 7 months only. Okay, but whereas this banyan tree have a life of 200 years. Okay, so this is about the lifespan. Okay, now next to that we are studying, apart from that, we also, you may note that the lives, you can see we calculate all these things, right? So on that basis, you may note that lifespan of organism not correlated with the size. Okay, whatever the calculation, whatever the lifespan of the given animal and plant that I already showed you, that already I showed you. Okay, you can see here. Okay, so on that basis, you may note that the lifespan of organism is not correlated with the size. For example, see the size of crow, size of crow and size of parrot. Okay, so the size of crow and parrot are not very different, but their lifespan shows a wide difference. You can see this crow has only 15 years lifespan, whereas the parrot has 140 years. Okay, similarly, mango trees has much shorter lifespan as compared to the people plant or banyan tree. Okay, but I took one example of plant and one example of animals. Okay, so you can see it means that the size of an organism, it does not relate it with lifespan. Okay, and as we know that the death of every individual organism is certainty. Yes, death तो हर एक जो इस अर्थ में आया है उसका डेथ तो होना ही है, राइट? सो डेथ ऑफ एवरी इंडिविजुअल organism is a certainty. So no, because no individual is immortal except a single cell organism. I repeat this statement, what I told you just now. The death of every individual organism is a certainty. Yes, वो तो होना ही है, except single cell organism. Okay, so what happened in the single cell organism? Except single cell organisms, it means unicellular organism. So in this cycle of unicellular organism, no dead bodies. Each and every part is converted into new organisms. Okay. So unicellular organism, for example, amoeba. I'm taking example of amoeba is a unicellular organism. Okay. So I just now I told you, no individual is immortal. No individual is immortal except single cell organism. Why? Okay, because in this life cycle of a single cell organism, that is unicellular organism, no dead body, there is no dead body, because each and every part of that body is get converted into a new organism. Okay, and best example of this is called amoeba, right? Now we are moved toward the types of reproduction. So reproduction is basically classified into two types, that is called as sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. So now we are going to discuss about the types of reproduction. As we know that there are two types of reproduction. Okay, asexual and sexual. Okay, now so it's based on whether there is one or two organisms taking part in the process of reproduction. This reproduction are classified into two types, that is called as asexual reproduction and sexual. On which basis we classified this type of reproduction? On the basis of one or two organisms take part in the process of reproduction. On that basis, reproduction are classified into two types, that is called asexual and sexual. Right. When? So what do you mean by asexual and what do you mean by sexual? Okay. Here, when this offspring produced by a single parents, when the offspring means a new organism, offspring means new organism. Okay. When this offspring is produced by single parents with or without involvement of gametes formation, this reproduction is known as asexual reproduction. Okay, and what about the sexual reproductions? When the two parents, generally opposite sex, participate in the process of reproduction and also involve the fusion of male and female gamete, this process is known as sexual reproduction. Okay, here I am writing what do you mean by the proper definition of sexual and asexual reproduction. Okay, first definition of asexual reproduction. So here I am writing when the offspring is produced by single parents with or without without the involvement of gamete formation. This process is known as asexual reproduction. Okay. So what do you mean by sexual reproduction? Here in sexual reproduction, here the sexual. This is asexual. In sexual reproduction, when the two parents means opposite sex participates in the reproduction process, and also involve the fusion of male and female gametes. This process is known as sexual reproduction. Okay. Again, I am repeating what do you mean by sexual and what do you mean by sexual reproduction. When the offspring is produced by only a single parent, with or without involvement of gamete formation, okay, that process is known as asexual reproduction. Whereas when two parents is essential, okay, so here the two parents, opposite, one male and another is female, participate in the process of reproduction and also involve the process of fertilization, means it also involve the fusion of male and female gamete. This process is known as sexual reproduction. Okay, now first we'll see what do you mean, what is asexual reproduction in detail. Okay, asexual reproduction. So usually asexual reproduction followed by the organism which have simpler organization. Okay, simpler organization of their body. What is asexual reproduction? Is occurs by those organisms which have relatively very simpler body organization. Okay, then whatever the offsprings are produced, these offsprings are produced by single parent. So I can say offsprings are produced by single parent. Okay, and these offsprings are produced either with or without involvement of gamete formation. What is the next difference? It may be with or without involvement of gamete formation. Okay, and whatever the offsprings are produced, these are genetically and morphologically similar. These are genetically and morphologically similar to each other and to the parents also. Similar to each other and to their parents also. Okay, that's why they are known as clones. They are known as clones. Understood? So, and we know that this asexual reproduction is common in single cell organism. Not only it occurs in single cell organism, but it also occurs in plants and animals. Okay, but they have very simpler body organization. Okay, for example, and I'm giving you example in protista. In protista, there's like a bacteria. In protista, okay. For example, in protista is bacteria, right? Then another this is called as Monera. Another group is called as Monera, or we can say is Monerian. Also we can say Monerian. Okay, so what will happen in protista? Protista is a, protista, Monera, algae, fungi and plantae. These are classes. Okay, so here in protista and Monera, what will happen? This parent cell divide into two and to give rise to a new organism. Okay, it means this is whatever the organisms are comes under in that group, that is called as protista and Monera. What will happen? This parent cells, the parent cell, okay, divide into two daughter cells, and that daughter cell give rise to two new organisms or two individuals. Okay, so thus in this organism I can say like that the cell division is a mode of reproduction. Yes, so in asexual organism, cell division is the mode of reproduction. Okay, what I told you, in this organism, cell division is this mode of reproduction. Here the meiosis does not occurs in. Meiosis does not occurs